Hands it off as Clark's back in. She goes down. And midcourt and flexing that ankle.
Oh, Lee, this late in the game, you do not want to see.
Stephanie White has now got questions to answer.
About this groin injury and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our
Who gives a shit how she responds to treatment? Keep her out for a week. Keep her out for a week or two. Let's make sure she's healthy. 110%, 150%.
Caitlin Clark is hurt again, but this time it's more than just another injury. It's a public betrayal, and the photo confirms the unthinkable. Caitlin Clark is once again on the sidelines, but this time the silence is deafening. There's no celebration of toughness, no post-game smiles, just a wave of growing anger, heartbreak, and disbelief, because this isn't some random sprain. This is what happens when a coach gambles with the body of a generational talent and loses.
With Caitlin, when did you guys find out about this groin injury and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day-to-day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB.
Like, it's one of two things. It's either it's groin tightness and she'll be back for the Commissioner's Cup game. She's probably going to miss these next two games. Or it's a groin strain. She's out for the All-Star game. Like, it's one of those two, and there's no in between.
But I think we're getting into territory now where it is not, I don't think it's a good idea to just chance it. I don't think it's a good idea to put pressure on yourself to perform when obviously these are all left leg. These are all in the same leg area. So there's definitely something going on around there.
A leaked courtside photo went viral overnight. It shows Clark grimacing, taped up, trainers on both sides, being sent back onto the floor during the final seconds of a game that was already won. She didn't walk out with confidence. She was escorted, practically pushed, while clearly in visible pain. And fans lost it, because this is her second lower body injury of the season, and this one was entirely avoidable.
Against the New York Liberty, doesn't have anything strapped up, and people are saying her quad was strapped up against Connecticut Sun. That is a very high strapping up for a quad.
You guys rushed her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then you rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury.
There's a lot of speculation that she did get hurt in the final seconds of the Seattle game.
Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left. Caitlin Clark dealing with an injury, not looking like herself. The game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing.
This isn't frustration anymore. This is fury, white-hot, boiling anger from a fan base that has watched Clark take hit after hit, physically and mentally, while the very people paid to protect her watched in silence. From the brutal beatdowns in Connecticut to the thigh wrap that no one addressed for weeks, Caitlin has been grinding through pain in every direction. The worst part? She never complained. She showed up, played through it, carried this team, carried the league, and got abandoned when she needed protection the most. And then, Coach Stephanie White stepped up to the mic and made the moment unforgettable.
There's something going on. Is it the nagging quad injury? But it's something to do with the lower half of her body. It is a groin injury. Now we've got an idea of why she's struggling from long range, where it requires, some real push on three-point shots, especially the kind that she takes. And there's nothing worse than a groin injury. It will nag the shit out of you. Trust me, I've had several.
But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. And with women as well, we are more prone to knee injuries even than the men because of the angle that our hips go to our knees. So the last thing you want is her compensating or her growing groin not firing properly, and she goes to cut to the side, and then all of a sudden something blows in her knee. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it. She has such a long career.
I told her we needed her out there. Let that sink in a league begging for momentum, with millions of eyes tuning in to see one star elevate the game. The coach of that very star admitted to knowingly sending her into battle half injured, for optics, for a meaningless W. And with that quote, the fuse was lit. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark wasn't just mistreated, she was sacrificed for a regular season win that won't even matter in 2 weeks. She was wincing, wrapped in compression from hip to knee, barely pushing off her left leg, and while the refs swallowed whistles and her teammates hesitated to step in, she was left alone to carry a broken system. Now she might miss the Commissioner's Cup, the All-Star game, possibly more.
And like, they just kept shoving Caitlin. They're like, well, they can't just keep calling fouls. I'm like, they're literally just running around hacking her. The referees have made it like a point that this is how you beat the Fever. You hack them. You don't even, it's not being physical. You just hack them. Because the referees are going to allow them be hacked.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlin Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it. Okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its players.
And one coach told me, we tell our players to be as physical as they can possibly be for 40 minutes because we know for 38 of them, they're pretty much going to get away with it. So I think everybody would like to see a tighter whistle and a little bit more freedom of movement.
This isn't a tweak. This is a chain reaction. The groin pulling because the quad never healed, the hip overcompensating, the ankle bracing too hard. It's what happens when you force elite athletes into overdrive without proper healing. And if you think this is new, think again. Back in May, Caitlin tweaked her quad. Fever fans remember it vividly, how White insisted she was day-to-day, but that day-to-day turned into 2 weeks of radio silence, followed by a clearly compromised Clark returning stiff, heavy-legged, and far from 100%. Still, she was rushed back. And now, it's the groin, the exact same leg, the exact same pattern, a mistake repeated. Against Seattle, the signs were all there. Clark grimaced mid-jab step, she grabbed at her hip, she staggered. Every commentator, every analyst, every fan yelled, "Sit her down." Instead, after a 30-second timeout, White motioned her back in. 16 meaningless seconds later, Clark was limping to the handshake line, body failing, face defeated. And then came the photo. Trainers flanking Caitlin as she hobbled down the tunnel, her forehead wrinkled in pain, legs heavily taped, her body language screaming one thing: I should never have been out there. But the damage was already done. Clark's numbers tell the story better than any press release. 1 for 23 from three-point range?
But it does make me wonder if a player like SGA can get all these fouls called, maybe the refs should call them similarly for Caitlin. Because if the players defending Clark know that they're going to get a whistle every time they hand check her or cover her physically, they will probably do it a lot less. And I get it, you're trying to neutralize this player, but you know, we've entered the realm of player safety here, and Caitlin Clark, who has now gone out for a 3rd time, so I think that this needs to be reassessed.
And it's also a huge blow to the WNBA. Whether some fans like it or not, it was proven the last time that she was out with injury that the WNBA does better when she is on the court. The WNBA ratings across the league dropped by over 50% when Caitlin Clark was out with injury, and this is obviously such a crucial time and a crucial year for the league because they go into CBA negotiations at the end of the year.
I need to get in the field.
You need to come to the
I
meeting.
gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
That's not a shooting slump. That's a compromised body struggling to execute. Anyone who understands basketball mechanics knows lift comes from the legs, torque from the hips, stability from the core. Injure one, and the whole chain breaks down. Her first step is gone. Her rhythm is off. Her body language, labored, heavy, tired. And what do sports physicians say? The writing was on the wall. Soft tissue injuries, especially in the groin and quad, are high risk for re-injury. Add bracing, tape, and uneven mechanics, and you're not stabilizing. You're shifting pressure elsewhere. The second you load one leg more than the other, another muscle eventually gives out. The Fever knew this, and they still rolled the dice. Now the consequences are crashing down like a landslide. Ratings collapsing, ticket demand dropping, sponsors nervous, networks furious, owners panicking. Entire arenas were expanded just to host Clark. Brands invested millions assuming she'd be on the floor. Broadcasters locked in premium ad rates. And now, the product is vanishing. The CBA salary projections built around her, sinking like a stone. This isn't just a Caitlin Clark injury. This is the entire WNBA being held together by a single overused ligament. And here's what's terrifying. The world is watching. EuroLeague executives are already preparing offers, guaranteed money, elite facilities, personal doctors, private jets, and one promise the WNBA failed to keep: we will protect our stars. Can you really blame her for looking? Let's be brutally honest. If they force her back again, if they dare shove her out while she's limping, aching, and bracing her career for another hit, the next headline won't be day to day. It'll be Caitlin Clark out for the season.
So lads, today, I didn't even realize that it was yesterday. We essentially, as good as got confirmation that, 2 days ago, that Stephanie White is in fact trying to turn the Indiana Fever into last year's Connecticut Sun. Last year's Connecticut Sun, who were one of the lowest scoring teams in the WNBA. Last year's Connecticut Sun, who have been described by me as puke ball. As puke ball. And everyone, Stephanie White, let it slip. She said she wanted to, let Caitlin be Caitlin. And it is very clear her offensive philosophy. It is very clear what Stephanie White is trying to do with this team. It's very clear. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is very, very clear what Stephanie White is trying to do with this team. And what she's trying to do with this team is she wants them to turn into she wants them to be old WNBA. She wants them to be old WNBA. And she wants the team to be what she had success with in Connecticut. She doesn't want this team playing fast. She wants them playing slow. Because let's take a listen to what she said about DeWanna Bonner.
And I'm talking about being happy personally. Like, I want her to be happy personally. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. It's a different group. While system might still be very similar, it's a different group, and things are happening quickly. And
I cannot believe, I mean this when I say this, I cannot believe the Indiana Fever had what was the best offense in the WNBA post-Olympic break and hired the coach with the worst offense in the WNBA to bring the worst offensive system to the best offensive team. What are we doing?
And the league might never recover. So if you believe it's time to shut her down, let her heal, and finally treat her like the gold she is, smash that like button right now. Subscribe for real talk and zero spin. Drop a basketball in the comments to wish Caitlin Clark a real recovery. Not a rushed one, not a forced one that's long overdue. Because until the Fever and the WNBA realize that protecting your greatest asset isn't weakness, it's the only way forward. Right now, it's not just her leg on the line, it's the entire future of women's basketball.